Here's more wrestling news for April 8th, 2023. And we're kicking off with SmackDown, as this week's show saw a six-man tag between Imperium and the Brawling Brutes, and a lengthy streak be broken. In the end, the match was won by the Brutes, as Sheamus got the pinfall victory on Giovanni Vinci, marking the first loss for the Imperium as a team since January's Raw is 30 event. While Sheamus came up short at WrestleMania, this win will no doubt put him in line for an Intercontinental Championship match. And what do you think will happen next after the 75-day streak of Imperium was broken? On this week's Raw, Io Sky and Dakota Kai lost to Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, but the biggest story was that Bayley was nowhere to be seen. The Damage Control member wasn't even mentioned during the show, and it was later reported that Vince McMahon's meddling led to her being pulled. On Twitter, Bayley tweeted about the end of a love story, and some fans suspected that her time with WWE will end soon, whether she wants it to or not. The idea for Damage Control was put forward in early 2022, but not only did McMahon reject the concept, but it wouldn't be long before Dakota Kai was released from the company. With speculation rife about their split, it remains to be seen what is in store for the popular faction. And do you think that we've seen the last of Damage Control? Let us know in the comments. During WrestleMania 39, WWE aired a promo ahead of the Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio match and used some shocking footage in the video. As Dominic spoke about surviving prison, footage of Auschwitz, the infamous Nazi concentration camp, was shown, leading to public outcry. After the Auschwitz Memorial Museum condemned WWE as shameless for their use of the footage, WWE issued the following statement to the Washington Post. "We had no knowledge of what was depicted. As soon as we learned, it was removed immediately. It's entirely possible that this footage was labeled prison or something similar, which did not reveal the sad truth behind the footage which was shown to millions of WWE fans." Over 1.1 million people were exterminated in Auschwitz, marking one of the darkest periods in human history, and we imagine that WWE's production team will be far more careful next time. The WWE Endeavor deal has been the talk of the wrestling world ever since it was announced this past Monday, and now All Elite Wrestling has gotten in on the action. AEW has never shied away from referencing WWE on their programming, with both ex-superstars and non-WWE talent alike bringing up McMahon, and this week's Rampage was no exception. During Rampage, QT Marshall hosted an edition of QTV where he spoke about a bunch of news and a buyout, which fans quickly realized was a dig at WWE's deal. Later in the show, Swerve Strickland announced that due to Trench and Parker Boudreaux of Mogul Affiliates being injured, he will be merging with another faction. Strickland said that as part of his merger, he will retain 51% ownership, the same percentage of WWE that Endeavor will own, and it was revealed that he has aligned with the Embassy. These were some interesting digs at WWE from AEW on live television, especially as Tony Khan once claimed that he's only focused on his own promotions, and we expect that this won't be the last we hear of WWE and their deal by AEW. This week's Rampage also saw Darby Allin in action as he faced off with Lee Moriarty, but the former TNT champion didn't walk into the match at 100%. During Allen's entrance, Jim Ross revealed that Allen was hit by a car in New York City on Thursday while the young wrestler was skateboarding. Allen suffered road rash and was pretty banged up, but AEW's doctors cleared him to compete, and throughout the match, Allen's accident was brought up several times. This is something AEW wanted to drive home, but without any video footage, it's difficult to take this claim of an accident at face value. Allen was noticeably slower during his match with Moriarty, and the fact that Big Bill was around to rough him up hardly helped matters, but the former TNT champion was still able to get the win. Hopefully Darby Allin can stay on the right side of cars from now, instead of ending up under them, if this skateboarding accident that AEW wanted fans to know about happened at all. More from SmackDown as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez bested Shotzi and Natalya in what we can describe as a match. The bout had no purpose and advanced no storylines other than giving Raquel and Liv a smidge of build ahead of next week's women's tag team title match, but overall, this just felt like a filler match. From the moment the referees hand counted 3 in the main event of WrestleMania 39, fans have debated as to why Cody lost the biggest match of his career. Some fans have speculated that AEW may have been a factor in the decision, with the loss being Vince McMahon's payback to Rhodes for founding WWE's biggest competition since WCW. Speaking on his Extreme Life podcast, Matt Hardy shared his thoughts on the possibility that AEW cost Cody the match, saying, "Cody, he ends up leaving, he goes out, he creates a company, he creates success, he gets himself over. He's a big deal and people are all behind him. Vince comes in at the end of the day like, hold up, before you're going to run this ship, I'm going to show you, y'all make you earn it." I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know if that's the actual factual true deal though. While Cody will likely win the title at some point, many feel WWE has missed Cody's peak, and we'll have to see whether his feud with Brock Lesnar can push Rhodes back into the title picture. In early 2022, MLW filed a lawsuit claiming WWE had interfered in their contracts and business prospects by allegedly pressuring Tubi to back out of a media rights deal. The lawsuit was dismissed in February of this year, but MLW has since filed an amended suit, but that's something WWE also wants thrown out. This week, WWE filed to have the amended suit dismissed, and in the paperwork, claimed that MLW should have no problem finding another streaming platform such as Amazon Prime, Roku, or Apple TV. It remains to be seen how the court will rule on WWE's motion to dismiss MLW's amended complaint, but we'll keep following the story of WWE's latest legal battle. At WrestleMania 39, the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and the Demon Finn Balor had to be temporarily suspended due to the Irishman suffering a serious head wound. That wound, caused by Edge throwing a ladder in Finn's face, would require 14 surgical staples to close, but this wasn't the only injury Balor was dealing with as part of this feud. Logging into Instagram, Balor revealed that on March 10th he suffered a tear in his calf, which typically can take up to 8 weeks to recover from. Obviously, Balor chose to wrestle despite the injury and said that WWE's medical team threw the kitchen sink at his injury to help him heal faster. Balor's Instagram post added that after a lot of rehab and a lot of swear words, he was able to make it to the match in Los Angeles with mere days to spare, and thanked everyone who helped him recover. Balor came up short against Edge and did not compete on the post-WrestleMania 39 Raw, as the inaugural Universal Champion has earned a rest after this past week. For months, Edge has spoken about how he plans on retiring in due time, but before he does, WWE is hoping to see the Rated R superstar reunite with Christian. That's according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, though the obvious issue is that Christian is with AEW, so for this reunion to happen, Vince McMahon will have to make some deal with Tony Khan. After WrestleMania, Logan Paul revealed that his year-long contract had expired and that he was no longer employed by the company. In the interview, the Maverick was immensely confident that WWE would re-sign him in due time, and it appears that has already happened. In The Observer, Dave Meltzer reports that over the past week, there's been talk in WWE that Paul has already signed a new contract with WWE. From a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for WWE to continue working with Paul, who remains one of the most popular names on YouTube and can attract a lot of eyes to the product. In his 5 matches with WWE, Paul has proven his skills in the ring, and are you excited to see more of the Maverick? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. WrestleMania 39 did not go the way Cody Rhodes had intended, as the American Nightmare did not finish the story in Los Angeles, despite having the backing of the crowd. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful noted that while WrestleMania merchandise was the top seller over the weekend, that Cody was the top individual merchandise earner. Cody clearly had the support of the crowd in SoFi Stadium, who were willing to part with their cash to support him, which will only add fuel to the belief that WWE made the wrong call in LA. And we're ending today with Madison Rayne, who suffered an injury during the ROH tapings prior to AEW Rampage. Sources attending report that Rayne appeared to suffer a foot or ankle injury in her match with Roby Renegade, and the match was ended quickly after. Rayne was seen being assisted off the stage by officials and was in significant pain, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery.